Yeah, we just got pulled over by the cops. Hey, yo, for real, the cops got the black man. I'm like, hey, this shit ain't even funny. Cops got me stressed out. I'm like, oh, God, please. Officer, please, oh.
Yeah, P. Diddy might have been over there laughing the first time the cops stopped him, but I guarantee you, he won't be laughing the next time. Especially after this grand jury gets finished with him. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. The other day, Rolling Stone magazine dropped a scathing article on P. Diddy, in which dozens of former friends, employees, and bad boy artists allege that Diddy's an abusive, violent figure behind the facade that he presents to the world. In the article, Rolling Stone details Diddy's long history of violence and abuse that dates all the way back to his days at Howard University, when he allegedly whipped a young girl up and down 4th Street with a belt like he was her daddy in front of the Harriet Tubman Women's Dorm. According to one of the girl's classmates, Diddy was outside the Harriet Tubman dorm, aka the Quad, screaming in a belligerent manner for his girlfriend to come outside like he was Troy from Waiting to Exhale, yelling at Robin from down under the balcony in that hot behind leather vest in the summertime. The classmate says that after Puff arrived at the dorm, he screamed and hollered and acted like a stone fool until the girl came downstairs, and then once she went outside, he started putting his paws on her. The other women in the dorm saw what was happening, and they started running through the halls, knocking on doors in panic. They were sounding the alarm and yelling, "Puff is out here acting crazy. He's beating her." The source then goes on to say that Diddy used what appeared to be a belt to strike the young woman all over the place. The source said he appeared angry and was screaming on top of his lungs and whipped her butt, like really whipped her butt. She was trying to defend herself a little bit. She was crying, and we were all telling him, get off of her. We were all screaming for her. Now, if you've never been to HU's campus, then you don't really understand the scene here. Harriet Tubman Quadrangle is the main female dorm, and it faces a street, and when you cross the street, you go to Howard University's campus, right? So this is not a private area. This is a very public space where Diddy was whipping his chick up and down the street. As a matter of fact, source, can you please show the people a clip of the Harriet Tubman dorms at Howard University so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page? I like everybody to actually know what we're talking about. See, that right there is a very public location. Not only do you have the street, but you have all of the girls' windows facing that street. So, that just tells you, P. Diddy had no shame in his game because he wasn't trying to hide what he was doing. I mean, do you understand just how brazen you have to be to jump out of your convertible, take off your belt, and whip some chick in the middle of that street? I mean, that right there is crazy. Alright, so hours after Rolling Stone dropped this article on Diddy, which also said that he was harassing one of his exes when she was in her classes, and he also jumped bad on another girl who allegedly cut the line in the cafeteria, CNN reported that a grand jury has now been selected to hear the evidence against Diddy in the federal probe. According to the latest reports, the Justice Department will bring a criminal indictment against Diddy very soon, and Diddy's accusers have all been notified that they could be brought in to testify before the grand jury in the Southern District of New York. According to some other sources, when the feds raided Diddy's crib and they took out all of them videotapes, they watched the tapes and they allegedly found video evidence of Diddy victimizing another male sex worker on those tapes.
Since November, you'll probably remember that Combs has been named in 8 civil lawsuits, 7 directly accusing him of sexual assault. CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister has all of this new reporting for us. Elizabeth, what more are you learning?
Good morning, Kate. So this is obviously the biggest escalation since those March raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. We are now hearing that federal investigators are preparing to possibly bring witnesses in front of a federal grand jury in New York City. What we have heard is that possible witnesses have been notified that they could be called to testify. Now, sources do caution that investigators are still in the process of of gathering information. In fact, they are still calling in new witnesses, and they have called in some witnesses multiple times. We also hear that the majority of the accusers who have filed these civil lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs have been brought in for questioning, and again, some of them being called in numerous times. We hear that many are cooperating and even handing over evidence that they feel could be relevant into this federal probe. Now, a spokesperson for Homeland Security did not respond to our request for comment about the presence of a grand jury, but they did confirm that this investigation is presently ongoing.
Elizabeth, what are you learning about the evidence that investigators could be reviewing here?
So, as I mentioned, those federal raids that were conducted on his homes back in March, obviously a lot of people wondering what was seized. Well, we are learning now that federal investigators are in possession of video footage that was taken inside of Combs's residence. We hear that these investigators have been contacting individuals that they have seen on this footage. One person, in addition to the accusers who have filed these civil suits, is a male sex worker. That is what a source tells me, and that they have been brought in for questioning through these federal investigators. Now, when the raids first happened, we had a law enforcement source tell us at CNN that the investigation was largely based in sex trafficking, which is what HSI specializes in. Now we are hearing that that scope has been widened, and that investigators are really looking into all of these claims put forth in these civil lawsuits. That would include not just sex trafficking, but also money laundering and illegal drugs. I have a source who tells me, quote, "This is much bigger than just these lawsuits."
Alright, so after this new information dropped on Diddy, a music journalist named Samya Krishnamurthy jumped online and said she used to work for Diddy and she never saw him abusing anybody. Samya said, "My first internship was with Bad Boy Records. I briefly worked in Diddy's office when he dated Cassie. It was my dream job. I never saw or experienced abuse. But that's my story. It's important we don't get blinded by biases or fandom and let the victims share their stories." Okay, yeah, and like, what is the purpose of this post? Who cares whether or not you saw the abuse? We all saw the abuse. Anybody who was watching CNN the other day saw the abuse. So, I mean, like, whether you saw it or not is irrelevant. Now, after Samya made her post, a whole bunch of people had something to say. And one person said, "Cloud is at an all-time high, because why would you say this when a whole video came out? And as if it never happened because you never saw it. Shut up." And then somebody else was like, "Exactly, shaking my head. She had nothing to say, so why say anything? Attention seeking is one hell of a drug." And then after that, somebody else was like, "Why share this if not to place doubt? We all saw the video confirming the abuse. So what's your actual point?" Now that I'm thinking about it, I think that her point is CYA, cover your own ASS, because I don't think that this chick wants to ever get called into that courtroom to testify against Diddy, and that's why she put on them big behind glasses to prove she can't see. She ain't see nothing. Now, after Charlamagne the God read this new Rolling Stones article, he weighed in once again on the whole Diddy situation.
But also so much to learn from that situation. I read that article.
Yeah, man. You did?
I did.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't want anything that's not a God. I got a good friend named Marbette Brittle. She always says talent will take you, a character can't sustain you. So the money, the influence, the power, none of that means anything if you don't have good character. Because if you don't have good character, all those things you have are only for self-serving purposes. Like, you truly got to have your ego in check. You truly got to do the internal work. So whatever pain you have, you don't project on the others. Because it's pointless to be what, Diddy was to the public, but be something completely different behind the scenes, allegedly. Still got to say allegedly for some of this stuff.
Yeah. The thing about that is, some of those people are probably absolutely positively true when they're talking about Diddy, but when they bring stuff back from 30 years ago and they're saying this is what happened, and it's just somebody's account, right? We don't know what's true and what's not true. That's the sad part about it. We've seen a lot of this unfold with the Cassie video, and we've seen a lot of it unfold with people that say something to Diddy, but sometimes like that, it just, I wonder who's in it just to get their name out in the paper, and who's in there because they're absolutely positively telling the truth.
Hey, man.
A lot of this, if you knew somebody was beating somebody in the dorm room, why wouldn't you say something back then? Yeah. So some of this stuff is like, all right, you're doing it to get it, but some of them can be true.
Maybe they did say something, but back then he wasn't nobody.
Nobody would even care.
He was little Huffy Puffy. He wasn't.
Shut up, man. Little
He
Huffy
was,
Puffy.
you know what I'm saying? So that is Jeff with the mess.
Little Huffy Puffy.
Listen, while I'm sure that every story that we hear about Puffy isn't true, I'm more than sure that if the ladies of the quad over there at Howard University back in 1987 say that P. Diddy was over there beating some chick up and down 4th Street with a belt, he most likely did beat some chick with a belt, because honestly, they have no reason to lie about that. And if the incident took place in front of the quad, trust me, more than one person saw it and more than one person can corroborate that story. And I know, if you're like Charlamagne the God or DJ Envy, you're like, yeah, but it happened 30 years ago. Listen, the reason why it's still important is that it speaks to the character of the person. Even though the incident took place in the 80s when he was still in college, this goes to show you that Diddy has not changed. He used to beat up women back then, and he's still beating up women today. So when Diddy's attorneys get up in that courtroom and say Diddy is a Gentile soul who wouldn't hurt a fly, and that video that you saw of him beating up Cassie is out of character for Diddy, because he would never do that. She must have done something to him to make him fly into a rage. We all know that that's not true. And believe me, even though they can't charge Diddy for beating up Cassie in that hallway, they are going to show that video during his trafficking trial if he is indicted, because they're going to use it to show who Diddy really is. Now, Diddy went back to Howard University in 2023 to celebrate on a yard during their yard fest. But I don't know if Diddy's going to be invited back after this. Check this out.
Can I get an A2? Can I get an A2? Can I get an A2? Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Turn me all the way up. 2 mil on my necklace. Bad boy. 80 million motherfucking records. Yeah. Say what? Come on now, y'all. Yeah. Hold on. Hey, P. Diddy, let's turn them up a little bit. Let's go. Tell me. Yes, in my search, I'm about to win. I'm going at you. Yeah, money is silly. Come on. I just said a stack. Keep it going. Wow, this is a Diddy party. It feels so good to be home. Oh yeah. Just keep this instrumental running back so I can connect with the people. Yeah, just keep this instrumental. Yeah, I want y'all to get in your motherfucking bag. Do your Diddy bop. Do your Diddy bop. Yeah, we can party. Get ready. Like a mess. We gotta do some classic shit while you here, bro. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do one. Do some classic shit like this, bro. Yeah. Oh! Ain't you throw your motherfucking hands in the air? Hands up in the air right now. Hands up in the air right now. Hands up in the air right now. Hold on. Everybody say bad boy.
Yeah, I hope Diddy enjoyed himself in 2023, because most likely, Diddy's not getting invited back to another Howard University homecoming. And on top of that, a number of people have started to wonder if Howard University is going to take away Diddy's honorary degree. For instance, one person said, "I call on Howard University to rescind the honorary degree it gave Diddy in 2014, and I call on BET to rescind the Lifetime Achievement Award it gave him in 2022. Let's not normalize giving abusive, powerful men honors simply because of their money and fame." Listen, let me know what you think. Should Howard University rescind P. Diddy's degree? But before I go today, I gotta share this with you. Basketball phenom and the WNBA's newest member, Caitlin Clark, has a question that she wants to pose to all of you, because she jumped online the other day and wrote, "If you were P. Diddy for 24 hours, what would you do?" Yo, that's actually a good question. What would you do if you were P. Diddy for the next 24 hours? Let me know in the comments. Listen, let me know what you think about the new Rolling Stones article that alleges that Diddy beat one of his exes with a belt on Howard University's campus. CNN saying that the feds have new video showing Diddy victimizing a male sex worker. Diddy's former intern saying, "I never saw Diddy abuse anyone." Charlamagne the God saying the money means nothing if you don't have good character, and people calling for Howard University to take back Diddy's honorary degree. Let me know what you think about all of that in the comments, and while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.